Another week's gone by, and I'm going to keep this consistent, or as consistent as I can. I managed to get through 5 movies this week, so more than the last. And it has been more of an animation week than the previous one, where I did primarily live-action affairs. Yeah, with me watching beloved classics, a great short, one of the best fan remakes of a film ever, and a legitimately surprising entry I wouldn't have guessed to be actually incredible. So, here I am. Let's get into this now, shall we? First up, How to Train Your Dragon. I've watched the remake already this year, and in comparison, it's so incredibly obvious which one of the two is better. And it's this one, it's the animated one. Of course it's going to be the animated one. This is in my top 5 favorite animated films of all time, as well as one of my favorite films of all time. So naturally, also, I believe this to be the best DreamWorks film. No question, no doubt, no whatever. I think that the story is really well handled, with the relationship between Hiccup and Toothless being the strongest parts of the film. And with it connected to Hiccup's struggles to connect with his dad, makes the film much more interesting, as well as much more compelling in a narrative and theming aspect. As well as the animation complemented the story, and the score really well makes it feel truly cinematic, unlike any other animated film that can feel static in places. I mean, beforehand, you have mostly static shots and all that. Nothing felt this cinematic or this grand until How to Train Your Dragon came out. It truly felt like it was like a live action setting placed into an animated film, and it was done so well. It felt seamless, it felt brilliant, it felt amazing. Obviously, the best part of the film, aside from Hiccup and Toothless's relationship, is the magnificent score. No wonder this film is as big of a hit as it is. No other film score has given me this level of chills as this masterpiece by Jung Pao. It's probably one of my favorite film scores ever made. I find the characters to all be endearing in some way, even if some of the side characters who train with Hiccup and Astrid can be a bit annoying at times. Though it doesn't bother me as much as other characters. I find Hiccup and Astrid's relationship to be very meet cute. Obviously, it's the rivals to lovers storyline. I don't think it's that obvious, but still. And the way their relationship turns out is really sweet, and I'm very glad that they expand the relationship upon it in the sequels as well. Though obviously, Gobber is best character, no doubt about that. The designs of the dragons are all unique and fits the personalities of their dragon riders really well. And there's just so much to go into, but I'm just here to give a quick review, so I'm going to wrap it up with: we need more films like this. Films that can tell profoundly impactful and deep stories that give us great and meaningful themes for us to take home with. And if you haven't watched this before, or even any of the films I'm reviewing today, please go watch them. They're so great. They're all great. None of them is below 7 out of 10, so go watch them. Next, it's the meme god we all never get tired of praising. It's Shrek. It's Shrek. If there is one film I would never get tired of rewatching, it would be the first Shrek. And I know I said How to Train Your Dragon is my favorite of DreamWorks and is one of my favorite animated films and favorite films of all time, but there's just something about Shrek that I just can't get over. It is so incredibly well. And this might be a controversial statement to say, but I think the first Shrek is the best in the franchise. Better than 2, better than The Last Wish, better than all the rest. The main reason why I believe this is because it feels more mature in the themes, and I connect to Shrek's struggles a lot with wanting to be connected in any way, whilst having some personal struggles with self-worth and feeling like he doesn't belong. It's some really powerful stuff to think about. I also think the writing is much smarter than the rest of the films, whilst having fewer scenes and moments that doesn't feel like they're dragging or just aren't interesting. I'll explain why I feel that way towards 2 and the last Wish when I talk about them sometime down in the line, but that's honestly how I feel. Also, all the characters have great moments, whether by themselves or with each other. Shrek being the meme fodder that he is, never ceases to get a laugh out of me, and Donkey and Fiona's playing off with him and each other just makes the scenes so much better. Farquaad, being the extreme powerhouse of a villain that he is, just being a great villain just makes the scenes so much more superior. Yeah. Though the thing is, as much as I love this film, for some reason I can't wrap myself around of giving it a 10 out of 10. For some reason, there is just something about this film that just is keeping me back from giving it a 10 out of 10. No matter how many times I watch it, I do not know why. I just can't give it a 10 out of 10 because I feel like there is something that I'm missing that's just holding it back for me. And I felt this way for very few films, but still, that thing holding it back for me, it just drives me insane. I know one other film that irks me that way, but it's mainly Shrek, because unlike that film, which I know was holding me back, this one, I'm not really sure. It's probably, might have something to do with the third act misunderstanding plotline, even though I don't mind it at all. Or there might just be a few moments here and there. And it might even be Farquaad isn't used that much. That probably is the reason. I mean, Farquaad is a great character. I wish he was utilized a lot more. And I kind of wish that his motivations with kicking out all the fairy tale creatures were more explained. But honestly, I don't really care. I love this film, so that stuff doesn't really bother me, even though it kind of does. But honestly, we all know why Shrek is incredible. I don't need to get into it any further. There are hundreds of video essays and reviews of this film that me saying anything will just be me saying what everyone else is saying, and it will just be redundant. But me saying it's the best in the franchise is something interesting to say. It's probably a hot take. So that's pretty much it for Shrek. We all love Shrek. Shrek is love, Shrek is life. That scarred me, by the way. On to the next one. Why in the name of God's green earth is a film called KPop Demon Hunters actually an incredible film? I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, to be honest, because it was released by Sony Pictures Animations, and they haven't failed us in more recent years with the Spider-Verse films, Mitchell's vs. the Machines, and even films like Wish Dragon, which I actually enjoyed. And even some of their classics like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Surf's Up, and After Christmas being proof. So I really shouldn't have doubted this film. The whole film is about not letting your flaws shaming you and expecting that those flaws that are a part of who you are. It is something I think a lot of people can relate to and really needs to hear. I find Rumi to be a very interesting and relatable protagonist with her struggles between her past, her present, and all that, and hiding her shame. I'm not going to spoil anything, but she's very conflicted near the latter half of the film about killing demons, and that's more with the connection of Jinu and her parents' complicated past, as well as not wanting to show her secret to her friends because it feels like she's gonna lose them by revealing her secret. I'm trying to be as vague as possible whilst not spoiling anything, because this just came out about 10-20 no, it came out last month, so there's that. But yeah, it's definitely, but not letting your flaws keep you down and try to grow past them and just acknowledge that the flaws, what makes you you, is something that I think a lot of people really need to hear. The best way I could describe this film, as well as everyone else describing this film, is it's cringe, but in the best way possible. The girls have such infectious chemistry and personality that they never go uninteresting or unlikable. They have a lot of charm, and they truly seem like friends who care about each other. And honestly, this is more of a personal grievance towards me and a lot of people on the internet. It's great to see female characters who are not only strong, powerful, and a badass, but feminine. But feminine, caring, and bubbly. Truly making it feel like they're women and not some stoic characters that no one cares about. Instead of the modern BS strong female characters that everyone and Emily Blunt is sick of nowadays, including me. It's not that they're women, it's not that they're strong female characters, and it's not even that they're powerful. It's the fact that they're uninteresting. Those characters are uninteresting. And they're unlikable. Yeah. But these ones, they got rid of the uninteresting bit, they got rid of the unlikable bit, and boom. That's how you make strong female characters. Yeah. Honestly, my personal belief is that Mulan is the best feminist film out there because it shows her growth. It shows her growth, and it shows her still being feminine whilst being strong. And this character and this film, whilst it doesn't show their growth of being stronger, it does show their growth of being better characters whilst overcoming their flaws. And this is something that, and I think this is a film that a lot of other films should be approaching. Is they should have these quiet moments of intimate struggles whilst also being fun and bubbly and all that, just proving that they're human. I mean, they're human, they're funny, they're likable, and they're just interesting. Yeah, these are the sorts of characters, Rumi, Mira, and Zoe, the three main leads. Those are the characters that we should be more inspired of, like Mulan, like Ripley, like Emily Blunt's characters, like Rita Brataski from Edge of Tomorrow. Those are the characters we should be more inspired of, who want to prop up female characters. And I'm not saying this to give woke points or anything. I don't like using that. That's stupid. Or trying to preach to a certain demographic. That's honestly what I feel. But anyways, it's enough side tangent. Back to film. The Saja Boys are great villains, and rivals to Huntrix, the main band. And whilst I wish that we got to see more of the other four boys' backstories, I mean, we really didn't get to see much of them aside from jokes where the girls were just staring at one of the boys' abs, and Zoe just pining after the mystery boy who never shows his forehead. I mean, he's probably got a massive forehead. Yeah. I really wish we got more of their backstories and motivations as to why they're helping the Demon Lord. But what we got with Giacchino was really compelling, refreshing, and elevates the story higher than it would have without him. And I think the relationship between Rumi and Giacchino is really sweet. It's obviously an enemies to lovers plot, but it's done in a way that is not truly cliche or uninteresting. The way the two only grow by opening up to one another and connecting through their struggles and flaws makes the two adorable to watch, and they have very adorable moments. I'm a sucker for romances. I'm always more invested in the romance plot with a lot of storylines, and I was definitely invested with these two. And honestly, I want more of them. If we get a sequel, I want more of them. I want more of Rumi and Gino. And without spoilers, I would want Sony to bring Gino and the Saja Boys back. Please make this into a franchise. Please, Sony. Yeah. Bobby, the manager, he's real G. He's the best character in the film. And he's played by Ken Jeong. That's enough reason to love that character. Obviously, the best part is the absolute stellar soundtrack, with every song being pure bangers. Though personally, how it's done is the best. And I've been playing the song in my car for 3 days straight without stopping. It is that great. Obviously, I had the most to say about this since it's the more recent film. Yeah. So the final thing I'll say is we desperately need a sequel. The main thing I keep on hearing from everyone is that we need this film to become a franchise. A film this great needs a sequel. Besides, we have so many questions that will be answered, that's left unanswered, that will be answered with a sequel. So I'm really hoping for a sequel, and that's what everyone else has been hoping for. The next film being the only live-action film on this review today, being a MCU special, Werewolf by Night. Yeah. Now, modern MCU is disappointing, to say the least. It obviously should have ended with Endgame. There is too much to catch up with, and every other film and show is terrible at worst, or uninteresting, or mildly good, but still nothing at best. I'm obviously exaggerating, because I did enjoy some of it, but those are the obvious exceptions, but I'm just saying what we all think. Yeah. But Werewolf by Night is one of those exceptions. I found this to be a great watch, and this isn't the first time I watched this. I watched this back when it first came out. Yeah. And it really pays homage to many of Universal's monster films from the 30s and 40s, with obvious parallels to the Wolfman. I'm very fascinated with that time period. I studied film studies in college, and I was more and when we were talking about early time periods of Hollywood and even earlier time periods like German Expressionism era, I was very much fascinated with monster films and films like Nosferatu. I was very fascinated with that, and I was just invested to talk about that. So obviously Werewolf by Night just drew me in. And I love monsters. I love mythology. I love fantasy. I love learning about all the interesting stories in so many religions and folklores and all that. So naturally, it's going to draw into me. Yeah. I found Jack Russell and Elsa Bloodstone to be interesting characters. I think from what we got, they have good, compelling wants and needs and backstories that we could chew on. I mean, it's not a full length, but it was interesting enough from what we got. Also, I saw something between these two from the moment they've known each other. I think I misspelled that, but I mean, they've only known each other for about, what, 5 minutes, and I already saw something. That's probably the romance sucker part of me talking. Yeah. But honestly, they had great rapport with each other, yeah. And I doubt this will be the last time we see of them. I'm still waiting for the Midnight Suns film, if we ever get them. Though, with the state of the MCU currently, and the Blade film being in production hell, I think it's been cancelled. I'm not going to bother checking. I mean, we've already got the Wesley Snipes Blades films, and I'll watch those eventually. But I think I'm fine with not having one. The fact that Michael Giacchino directed this just gives me hope that anybody, including you and me, can make something great without being strong with other aspects. I mean, obviously, Michael Giacchino is an incredible composer. I still wish he got nominated for the Batman score. The Batman score. It didn't get nominated for the Oscars. Come on. But still, the fact that he directed this is just incredible. I'm very, very surprised by that. And I'm just hoping I could direct something that great, or even write something this great. It definitely feels like a horror film, even if I wasn't scared. It felt like it didn't feel like it was trying to be scary, but instead it actually was. I wasn't scared, but I'm sure other people would be scared. Man-Thing is in this, and that makes me very happy. Also, his and Jack's friendship was really sweet. The transformation of Jack Russell into the Werewolf by Night is really well shot, with the light casting the shadows over Elsa, with Elsa looking terrified, and with the incredible score mixed into the scene, makes the whole scene stand out from the rest. No wonder it was shown in the trailers. Yeah. Overall, one of the better projects released in the post-Endgame era of the MCU. I think I might talk about the post-era Endgame of the MCU sometime in the future, but for now, this is what you're getting. The final film is Shrek Retold, one of the best fan films I've ever seen. It's everything that makes the original film so great. It has a mixture of what makes the fans and the reception of one film so passionate and incredible. And the fact that this was made purely because so many loves the OG film, it's just really beautiful to experience. Every scene is either batshit funny, is a batshit funny scene, or really well acted and serious, but still has the comical elements. I honestly have to give hats off to this film, and further hats off to everyone who made this, who were a part of making this, and even further hats off to Shrek 2 Retold when that comes out. And I can't wait to see it. Yeah, honestly, and stuff like this, it proves why the fans have great stories that can also be told. Because if we don't give our opinions out there, if we don't give our messages out there to everyone else, then obviously people will probably just be retelling the same thing. I mean, this is just the retelling, but it's a retelling done right. It's a retelling with love, and that's just beautiful. So yeah, films, the ratings. What did I do again? Yes, okay. How to Train Your Dragon, I give that a 10 out of 10. Full 10 out of 10s. Love the film. One of my favorite films, no doubt. Shrek, 9 out of 10. Something holding me back. Still don't know, but I still love the film. What is next? K-Pop Demon Hunters, 9 out of 10. There is some things that's holding me back. Like, a lot of the questions are unanswered. Most of the Saja boys are kind of wasted, even though there is something. And the main villain is not really that threatening, surprisingly enough. So yeah, that's really all I need to say. Werewolf by Night, 8 out of 10. Really great, but usually if they're shorter, I'm not going to be that more invested unless it grips me right away. But this one, it's just really good, and it didn't grip me that much. So 8 out of 10. Shrek Retold, I'm just going to double check. 9 out of 10. Same as Shrek, but it will never be better than Shrek. I'm sorry if you think Shrek Retold is better than Shrek, but no, I'm sorry, no. The first one is better. Anyways, that's what I got to say. All of this is to give a third, fourth, or fifth perspective on, or give a different opinion for you to chew on and you to experience. That's all I have to say. So leave some comments down below of what films that you would like me to watch or to review. Anyways, that's the end of today's video. I want to say thank you very much for watching, and me and the bin will see you all later. Have a good one.